all holding agencies, law enforcing agencies, all were misused by Sheikh Hasina during her authoritarian and dictatorship in the guise of democracy. And you know that popularly, Sheikh Hasina is known here now in Bangladesh as a fascist ruler. So people were actually rising with the feelings of patriotism. People wanted justice. So it's not nationalism in that sense. People were actually wanted justice to establish their rights. So that was the real scenario, and Bangladesh witnessed that type of development, not nationalism like Hinduism in India. It's not like that in Bangladesh. No need to feedback that now right-wing will be backtrack to the same feelings as Hasina did forcefully. So there is no need that. Just normal judicial process, normal investigation will reveal many things, and Hasina as well as the top leaders of our be guilty, and they will face trial and punishment, I think.
Watch Federal Post. Bold and independent.
Assalamu alaikum, मैं हूं हसन जफर, ये program Talking Politics. We have Kamruzzaman Bablu Sahab from Bangladesh with us. Welcome, Bablu Sahab, to Talking Politics.
Thank you very much for having me.
Sir, it's my pleasure. I'm sure you're watching the world developments in the past couple of weeks, especially last 2 days after the German elections, where this rise of nationalism in Europe is on the horizon. So I was thinking, before having this conversation with you, that I think it's a very good opportunity to discuss Bangladeshi nationalism that has come up in the previous month, especially after the toppling down of Hasina Wajid's regime in August 2024. How do you see these developments in relation to what has happened or the way things are in our region in South Asia? The rise of Bangladeshi nationalism, rise of Hindu nationalism in India, and several things. So is this a kind of a wave across the world? The world has changed. The way we have known it, it does not exist anymore. Is it like that?
Thank you very much for this interesting question. Actually, I humbly want to differ a little bit. Actually, in Bangladesh, that has happened in the last couple of weeks. It's not only nationalism. Actually, in the last 15 years, during the regime of Sheikh Hasina, people were hugely suffering for injustice and human rights violation. So people were actually so much hunger for justice, for human rights. That's why there was an uprising. And the student started this uprising with a very minor issue, quota reform movement that was started, but gradually it turned into a massive movement. Actually, people were ready to topple Sheikh Hasina, but you know that all holding agencies, law enforcing agencies, all were misused by Sheikh Hasina during her authoritarian and dictatorship in the guise of democracy. And you know that popularly, Sheikh Hasina is known here now in Bangladesh as a fascist ruler. So people were actually rising with the feelings of patriotism. People wanted justice. So it's not nationalism in that sense. People were actually wanted justice to establish their rights. So that was the real scenario, and Bangladesh witnessed that type of development, not nationalism like Hinduism in India. It's not like that in Bangladesh.
That is where I want to draw the line in order to understand how the uprising in Bangladesh is different from whatever the situation is in India right now, and as it is developing elsewhere, especially Europe. Patriotism, discontent with the previous regime, desire for justice, human rights, all uprisings, all forms of nationalism These are the driving forces behind all kind of nationalism. You talk to any German, you talk to any European, Ukrainian, for example, or even Russian, discontent, dissatisfaction, patriotism, these are at the bottom of all nationalism. So how do you think Bangladeshi nationalism is different from the rest of the world?
Of course, I think so. It's totally different because the source of the rising here was deprivation. People were deprived. People were mistreated inhumanly, because there are dozens of incidents in this country during the regime of Sheikh Hasina that just a college student or a university student, very young student, he was detained by law enforcing agency members. And when the family went to the nearest police station or other offices of law enforcing agencies, they denied, no, we didn't take or didn't pick any guy this. But just 2 or 3 days later, his dead body was found across the road or nearest marshland or forest. So there were so many such inhuman activities. So people were actually so helpless, and people were seeking help from the Almighty Allah regularly. Oh Allah, please help us from this tyranny. So that was the feeling. So the source of this uprising was to get rid of injustice, to get rid of tyranny, and to get rid of fascism. And the unity, even you know that during the popular student movement that toppled Sheikh Hasina, in that movement there were many patriotic Hindus, there were many Buddhists who are living here in this country. So all the people who love the country and who hate fascism or authoritarianism, they united and they came to the street against the authoritarian and injustice ruling of Sheikh Hasina. So that was the source of movement here in Bangladesh.
Abdul Saab, can I say here, there was a discontent with the way history was shaped and taught in Bangladesh. When we go a little deep into it, we find out it was not just the social and economic injustice. There was something else too, because bringing down the statue of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, and that is the that kind of anger does not only come from poverty or economic depravity. There was something else that was brewing up for I don't know how long.
Actually, during the 15-year-long regime of Sheikh Hasina, Sheikh Mujib was placed forcefully as an like a devota or like something forcefully, and every day, almost every day, in every occasion, Sheikh Mujib was placed as a superhuman being, even superseding Shere Bangla Eke Fazlul Haq, who was a very popular leader, and his role was very well known here in this country. Even Maulana Abdul Hamid Khan Bhashani, all big figures were superseded by Sheikh Mujib, forcefully by Sheikh Hasina, his daughter, as prime minister. So actually, due to these forceful activities, and the people were actually in a vomiting stage. Why? Sheikh Mujib were forced. People have normal respect as a leader, founding leader. Okay, everything was fine, and Sheikh Mujib was in a place, but he was forced to accept as a great and leader, superseding all other leaders. And even there were Maulana Abdul Hamid Khan theater, some other structures, stadium, all were changed. And the name of Sheikh Mujib was put there. So people were actually fed up due to these overwhelming activities of Sheikh Hasina to figure out Sheikh Mujib as a superhuman being. So that's why after the fall of Sheikh Hasina, and Sheikh Hasina when fled to India, so people just expressed their anger by demolishing all the statues and other structures of Sheikh Mujib. So this was the very generous and very spontaneous reaction of the mass people to express their hatred to the regime of Sheikh Hasina.
I have two more questions, not too many actually. One takes us one step back, so let's deal with that one first. We see in the Middle East, in shape of Zionist regime in Israel, we see right-wingers coming to power in Germany. We see right-wingers coming to power in the United States of America. We see right-wingers coming to power in India. And right-wingers, as I understand, or as we hear in the news, coming to power or taking the center stage in Bangladesh. How does this pattern look to you?
Actually, I need to repeat the same thing. People in Bangladesh, after the independence in 1971, people saw the ruling of different political parties, including Bangladesh Nationalist Party, BNP, Nationalist Party, or Jatiyo Party, led by Hussein Muhammad Ershad, late president, come army chief, and then Awami League for several times. Okay. So actually, people didn't get something that they are expecting. So now people are feeling that something new should come. And in that case, the students are taking to fill up this vacuum, and another Islamic party.
Bablu sir, let me make my question a little bit more specific. And that is, during the 15 years regime of Hasina Wajid, there was a lot of prosecution of the right-wingers, especially Jamaat Islami, and we saw that happening. So is this a coming back of the right-wing, nationalistic, religious feelings amongst the Bangladeshi people that have taken the center stage now? That's where we are.
Actually, that type of every action has a equal and opposite reaction. We know this common theory, but I think that it will not be happening that way. Actually, as there were so much injustice, and even eyewitnesses were kidnapped from the gate of the international crime tribunals here functioned locally in Bangladesh, and he was later discovered in the Indian jail. So many incidents happened, and there were visible document regarding those mismanagement. So if this normal judicial proceedings held here now, Awami League and many other cohorts of the fascist regime will be guilty. So no need to feedback that now right-wing will be backtracked to the same feelings as Hasina did forcefully. So there is no need that. Just normal judicial process, normal investigation will reveal many things, and Hasina as well as the top leaders of Awami League will be guilty, and they will face trial and punishment, I think.
Right. Let's try to approach this whole thing from an entirely different angle now. We see in Russia and the Middle East, in the United States, all the places that I've mentioned, and India, of course. It also appears to be as if the oligarchs are taking over. Look at the poverty level in India itself, with a huge economy, as they claim, the third or fourth or whatever biggest. But at the same time, there's rising unemployment in India. We know that it's about 6 to 7%, which is a very huge chunk of the population if we calculate it. So actually, what is happening in our neighborhood particularly is that the money is concentrating in fewer hands. And of course, the poor remain poor and the rich become richer, and that we can see happening everywhere else in the world. There are no moral standards. There is no, what we knew as politically correct a month ago is not politically correct anymore. You can do whatever you like in the name of national interest and personal interest. Is is that different in Bangladesh as we talk now from your neighborhood in India?
Thank you, Zafar sir. You raised a very good question. Actually, now in Bangladesh, this is a matter of great tension also because in the last 15 years, huge money has gone to some people related to the politics of Awami League, and most of the money has been sent to abroad, money laundering, and most of the Awami League leaders are guilty for money laundering. Actually, this is also a problem. You know that Bangladesh is a not actually in real sense middle income country, but is a poverty stricken country till now. But the money is only with those persons, and they had money, so they are still trying to control most of the important bodies or organs of the state using those money from abroad. So this is a matter of great tension. So and now in this situation, the interim government led by Nobel Peace Laureate Professor Muhammad Yunus, they're trying to activate the Anti-Corruption Commission more actively so that those laundered money can be taken back and the corrupted people can be captured and the money can be taken. Otherwise, you know that they will try to destabilize the normalcy of the country using those monies. And even still now in judiciary, in the defense sectors and other important sectors, the bureaucracy, there are still many corrupted people who were recruited by Awami League regime. So money is a factor now. So the interim government must handle this issue very carefully, and of course with a strong hand. They would handle this using the Anti-Corruption Commission and other organs.
50 years there was anti-Pakistan narrative in India. Whatever happened in 71, those memories and everything related to it, how has all that or most of it subsided after August 2024? Because now we have open trade with Bangladesh, and we hear and we see Bangladeshi people, Pakistani people exchanging beautiful comments with each other. I'm sure we'll experience the same thing under this video as well. How has this changed in Bangladesh?
Actually, the new generation who took part in the July movement that toppled Sheikh Hasina, they're very open-minded, and even this generation is well educated, and they know during the Second World War there was atomic bomb on Japan, but the trade relationship between Japan and US very fine. So Bangladeshi generations think that trade and normal activities must go in a very normal way, because the foreign policy of Bangladesh is friendship to all, malice to none. But at the same time, Bangladeshi generation, the new generation, want to discuss this issue in an amicable way, and the incident of human rights violation during 1971 and the reported genocide. For this, of course, Pakistan should have a very clarified statement, and Bangladeshi people also expect that the very normal way Pakistan say, okay, during that time, what was happened, we are sorry for that. We are brother. We can go now in an amicable way. This type of sitting and discussion is very much important.
Indian establishment, or maybe the Indian establishment, the way they have played with Bangladesh over the last 2 decades, and the way they have conducted themselves when it comes to the matter of shared rivers, or when it comes to other economic and social issues, maybe that treatment also caused that kind of realization that, okay, no, there was something wrong with what we were told.
Actually, Bangladeshi young generation now, who cover most of the population, they also have very strong realization that even what was happened in 1971, that was a war. But after the independence, in the last 5 decades, all the common rivers, waters have been controlling by India, monopoly controlling, setting embankment. Greater part of Bangladesh is becoming desert, inhuman killing across the border, and many other issues. Bangladesh has been
It's
facing.
very
It has
hard
been
to
facing injustice from from India and Indian hegemony. Bangladeshi people are so much fed up with Indian hegemony, and India is always trying to convince Bangladeshi people, okay, you Pakistan did this, so you should against. So this is a very common political propaganda of India. Bangladeshi people is no more convinced with it.
going to fall for
Bangladeshi
it.
people, yeah.
Nobody's falling for it anymore. Enough is enough. So that's the message. Thank you very much, Kamruzzaman Bablu Saab. I know you have made a lot of effort to make for this interview the kind of situation you were in. Take good care of yourself, and all the best to Bangladesh and Bangladeshi people. Thank you very much for watching.
Thank you very much, sir, for having me. Best of luck. Bye. Allah Hafiz.
Hafiz.